Just F It.
Hi, I'm Romy, an identity coach helping others who struggle with their sexual identity and families of queer youth find their path of understanding and acceptance.
And I'm Carla, a mom empowerment coach empowering moms to own their new identities and motherhood journeys.
And together we are the EFFing Madres. We are here to invite you guys into stories of some inspiring madres
who have changed their lives through an F It moment. So here we go. Just F It.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday.
Monday motivation, Madre Monday,
Camaraderie Monday,
Mompreneur Monday, Manic Monday. We are the EFFing Madres. I am Romy. This is Carla. We are two best friends, two Latinas, and we are two mamas who said just F it, created a space for other mothers to share their stories of saying just F it. And what that means is saying fuck it basically to something in your life that really, by doing so or moving through it, changed the direction of your life for you and your family. And it's just inspiring stories for one another.
Yep. Hopefully, I mean, especially this episode with Samarine, she, her F It moment, I believe, is about postpartum.
Which is really close to your heart.
Yeah, which I'm really curious to hear because I really struggled with it, and it's interesting. Like I don't think it's taking me to be like out of it to realize like I probably did suffer from it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that like it's when you go to the doctor and they're like, oh, you have postpartum, okay, but like we need support. Like we don't need the diagnosis. We don't just need the diagnosis. Yeah. We need support. And so hearing stories from other women is support to like help validate those feelings. And so I'm really curious to hear because it's sounding like it's probably a similar journey to mine.
When she said to me that she wanted to share about postpartum, I was like really excited to have her on just because we really haven't had a mom come on and talk about that part of that journey. So I'm excited too.
Aside from me.
Aside from you,
like,
exactly. You've been open about it, but we haven't had anyone else come and like kind of share it with you. So I love that she was open to that,
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, we're going to bring in just a second. All right, everyone. We have Samarine Arshad here joining us. I did say it right?
Yes, you did.
I always have to
Samarine.
Okay. Okay, so we're just going to jump right in. And the first question we have for you is, when did you decide to just F it and why?
So, a quick recap. I came to the country when I was 21 years old. I came here for college. So I'm an immigrant. I'm not first generation immigrant. I'm actually an immigrant. And I came here for college and I went to business school. Then I worked in the automotive industry, met my lovely husband online, and ended up moving to a place called Buffalo, New York. Very, very cold and very secluded. And that's when I got pregnant and had my lovely child. So the reason I'm telling this story is because it has a lot to do with my journey when I was embracing myself as a mom. A lot of times you talk about like bringing a child to the world. I think it's also a birth of a mother that a lot of people forget. So that is one of my biggest reasons. I had real bad case of postpartum depression. It was just really bad. We started in my third trimester, and even though people say it has a lot to do with your education and your style, whatever, like your knowledge and all that stuff. I'm married to a surgeon, and I myself went to business school, and I just want you guys to know none of that means anything, because the feeling of postpartum depression is so weird because as a new mom, the world and the society is telling you that this is the happiest moment of your life. Like you are so blessed and you're amazing. Like everything is like you have no reason to be sad or upset or in pain. So I had a real bad depression like in my last trimester where I thought I wouldn't be able to carry through the pregnancy. But with my great partner, I was able to get through my pregnancy, had the baby, but it just got really, really worse. So I feel that is a journey that taught me that after going through it for a long time, I realized that I need to save myself. And that's when my journey with makeup started. So this was just in a nutshell to give you guys an idea of like, it's not like I have so many stories to tell when I had my kid. My story is before and right after.
Samreen, you hit on so many things that are exactly why we have this podcast. So this is a space where we want moms to share that specific effort moment where it inspires another mom who's going through it. I know Carla can relate to this. I can see her face while listening to you. We talk about it all the time. It's very important to say that expectation of moms to be the best, the happiest. It isn't like that for everyone. And Carla, right? Your journey wasn't like that. So you can relate to her on you guys are moms that understand each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I was looking at research papers in regarding to scientific data in regards to women and how they felt and the loss of identity and all that. And it said there, because motherhood is considered a happy, blissful event. That statement right there, that puts so much weight on new moms and
Yeah.
just moms in general, and the expectations and the way that they should feel and the way they should act and the way they should think. It puts so much pressure on like
Mm-hmm.
you needing to feel like you should be grateful for being a mom.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you and I both are grateful to be moms. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you are. I'm sure
Yeah.
I am. But that doesn't mean that I can't have these mixed feelings about motherhood and what I'm going through, and like mourning the loss of my old self and not knowing who I am yet and being in this weird limbo. It is a mind fuck.
Yeah.
It
100%.
really is. And I feel like you're not, I guess it's an assumption, like we
Mm-hmm.
should expect to change, right? But it's not spoken about in a way that I wish I would have been. I wish someone would have just said, just wait. Like, you're going to mourn your own self.
Yeah.
You're going to not know who you are. You're going to feel these feelings. I wish someone would have just said that to me, because then I would have at least, you know what I mean? I would have at least had an expectation like, oh, that's what these feelings are.
Well,
Okay. You know?
Samreen, by you saying it on here though, and sharing this story, you're telling so many women tuning in, this is okay. This is normal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're sharing that.
And I feel like that's what we need to normalize. What I keep articulating again and again, anytime I get to speak about this topic, is that I am married to a physician and I am a worldly woman and I've seen the world and I'm so independent. So I feel like I have everything great going for me. But in that moment, I was in such a dark space, guys. I can never explain it because as a woman, everyone cares about the new baby who's coming to the world. It's about the baby, baby, baby. Nobody talks about the birth of a mother. That day, you became a mother, something you have not known. I became a mom when I was 29 years old. So this was like 9 years ago, right? I didn't know how to be a mom. And nobody's like worried about this 29-year-old grown ass woman who is going to try to figure out what the fuck to do with her life. Nobody cares about that. It's about the baby who only needs like literally a diaper and a boob to survive. And I can't emphasize this enough. Like, I am a very loving mom. I have, like, my son is my best friend and everything's great. But I cannot stop talking about the fact that women need to understand that it is hard and it's tough and there are days which are dark, and it's okay to get out and tell your girlfriends, your family, or whatever, like shit, and I don't want to do this today.
Yeah, and I need help.
I need
Like
help.
I
I need
can't do
help.
this alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yes.
would this
Absolutely.
would lead to the big question then. This is that effort moment. So
Yeah.
I really just appreciate you sharing this because we need more
Yeah.
women to say this. We need more
Hmm.
women to normalize this what you guys have gone through, you know. What did you do about it? When you said F it, I'm having this postpartum. What did it look like? What did you do to get through that? What was internally emotion, a feeling? It could be small, it could be large, it could be nothing, but what when was it that you knew F it, like I'm gonna move through this?
So I'll be very honest that it wasn't like this light went off and I'm like, this is the moment. No, it was not. It was a very gradual learning curve. So when I was going to postpartum, it was just really rough. And what the one thing that I kind of put it on was like, I'm not working anymore, so that's why I'm feeling this way. Because I've always been working. I've been in the corporate world, and I thought that, oh, I'm just like staying home. I see Carla, she's relating to me.
Yeah, she
And
is.
right, so
Hardcore.
right, so you need a reason, right? So I found that reason. I'm like, oh, that is what's wrong with me right now, right? That I'm staying home. I love my son, I love everything, but I also love my independence. and I love being the woman that I am. And you know, I'm not just a mom and I'm not just a wife. I'm Samreen. Who is Samreen? Like, what do I see myself as? So it still didn't occur to me, guys. Listen, I just want you to know I did not own makeup until I started doing makeup at this point in my life. The fact that I own a makeup company today has nothing to do with where I was like 10 years from now. So what I would do is my son was 3 months old and I would put him to bed. And I don't know how somehow I stumbled upon this is like, keep in mind, this is 9 years ago, actually 9.5 years ago. And I'm like, I go on YouTube and somehow I end up on these YouTube videos, these makeup videos, which are huge at that time. Today we're on Instagram. 9 years ago, it was all YouTube, right? Like those like 10, 20 minute like talk through videos. And I don't know what it was, girls. Like, I just found so much solace in my life
Mm.
just watching people apply makeup. So the transition of makeup, I think it did
Uh-huh.
so much for my inside where I'm like, oh my gosh, she looks beautiful. And I wanted to look like that, right? So I did that for a few months of just watching, and then I started buying the same makeup that they would tell in the videos. And I started like, you know, when I would put Ayan to bed, like a few times a day, I would just go in my room and just like try that makeup and like up, you know, and from there is where my you know my journey started. But I just want to say that was a moment when I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I love makeup and it makes me feel better and it makes me feel like myself. I had never been in makeup before that. I just want you guys to know that, right?
So, Samreen, I want to give you a little backup because it's really funny that we're all speaking. Because I don't know if you know this, Carla's a hairdresser, I'm a makeup artist, and how we started this podcast was us coming together wanting to do makeup and hair kind of tutorials.
Love it.
We were just in the
Yeah.
midst of not knowing what we were like doing and like our purpose. And it's funny because you say that, and I'm relating to you because we talk about this all the time. We're really big on like, we've always made people feel beautiful on the outside. Carla and I really enjoy working on making people also feel beautiful on the inside. That doesn't mean that we still don't do external, makeovers, but a makeover as like a full person. And I think what you're talking about too, which is probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, part of that transition into beauty and makeup and putting a face on and creating something because you rebirthed yourself. There's an internal rebirth that's happening, and we want to like externally
Mm-hmm.
match that.
Yes.
And what a beautiful way to find makeup through that.
You're a makeup artist and like we are transforming people, but at that time I was transforming myself. So at that point in my life in my journey, I was not a makeup artist. I was just a mom who was just trying to escape her reality of sleepless nights, not making enough milk, and my child is always hungry, and I'm always a mess, and you know what I mean? Like all those little things that I was so particular about was not going great in my life. So I always say this, like as much as makeup does for your outside appearance, it does so much more for your soul. And people are like, oh, makeup is so fake, etc. And I think that is my place where I say it just makes you feel the best version of you. And that's it. I cannot be a Rumi, I cannot be Carla, we cannot be each other. But when we apply makeup, I can be my best Samreen and I can feel amazing.
Yeah, it's an amplification. Yeah, you're amplifying yourself. It makes you, when you do that, it just makes you feel good. And when you feel good, you even put out a just different type of energy.
Yeah.
It really does. It shifts something when you're in that space.
Yeah.
Um I want I want to really dive into how, like, the emotions that you were feeling in regards to your postpartum, because for me it was just like I just felt so lost. Like, I felt confused, I felt lost,
Mm-hmm.
I felt sad, I felt angry because like you, I didn't want I was a working I've always worked. My identity has always been tied to what I do, and then here I am and I'm not doing anything for myself. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know, lay it on me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how did you feel when all of that was going on? Cuz I think that needs to be talked about a lot more.
The only word I can explain it, and it's taken me a long, long time, like, you know, like 9 years of it. The only way I can explain it is I felt empty. And that's it. My word is empty. It's like my bucket is
Mm,
full, but I'm empty, right? I have the best
mm,
husband. I have a beautiful, healthy child. I have a gorgeous house that I live in. everyone is like, I want this dream life, but I feel empty. And I didn't know
Mm.
how to fill that emptiness. It doesn't mean that I had to go back to work. It wasn't that. It was just that, how do I fill this emptiness? It could have been medication, it could have been therapy, but I didn't know at that time. So at that time, I would just stare at the wall and just cry endlessly, not understanding what's wrong with me, right? And at one point, we went to the hospital. We were talking about therapy. We're back and forth, and like, thank God in my family we have no shame in therapy. We're very all about it. Like, absolutely, if you need it, you get it. Yes. And today I tell everybody, I'm like, therapy, therapy, therapy.
Same. I almost posted the other day, Sam Marino, I was going to therapy and I just wanted to get on and just yell on social media and be like, go, it's so good.
It's
It's
so
so
good.
good for
Yes,
you.
absolutely. I feel like it has opened a can of worms for me many times in my
Yeah.
life, but like, I'm all about medication. Like, I'm on medication and I've never felt better ever in my life. Like, I don't even know, how you ask yourself, what does it feel to feel yourself, right? I don't know at that time, if you ask me, what it felt to feel myself. Today, I can tell you what it feels to feel myself. And I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. It's like what I think I feel best, and this works for me.
Amen.
Yes, even that.
I
Yeah.
mean, I have to say this because you spit it out, and I don't want it to be overseen. You were not a makeup artist. You
Yes.
were not some makeup artist, right? I love this, and this is that fuck it moment. These are those other
Yeah.
little fuck it moments that happen within fuck it moments, right? Because we always
Yeah.
talk about you start
Mm-hmm.
one fuck it moment and other ones happened.
Yeah.
You don't know who you are. You're depressed. You're feeling empty. You have everything in the world. You start playing with makeup to do all these fun things while your baby's
Mm-hmm.
sleeping, just to find something that's you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you make yourself a makeup artist. Through
Yeah.
this, you make yourself a makeup artist, and then you create your own brand. And then you
Yeah.
find your passion, you find this love, you find this new chapter and version of you through that rebirth of you.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So, I mean, it was a journey to it. Like, when I say it was a
Yeah.
9-year journey, like, we did launch a brand almost 3 years ago. But when I realized that I love makeup and I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll be a makeup artist. And I wasn't one of those people. I've always been the technical side of it. So I was like, I want to go and learn how to do makeup. So at that point, my son was 6 months old, and my husband and I worked a way through where I lived in Buffalo, New York. So I would drive to Toronto Monday morning, and I enrolled in a runway and fashion makeup course at Toronto Makeup School of Art, right? And I got to work on some movies they were filming. It was like a pretty big deal. Like, I was there for 3 months. I rented an apartment. I stayed alone. I would just go to the studio, work all day, come back to my little apartment, and just watch my son, my 6 month old, on like FaceTime until I went to
Wow.
bed. Because you guys know new moms. Like, can you imagine leaving your 6 month alone? Like, it was just like, when I think about that, I would just cry. That was my life. I would just cry. But I was so determined to do it at that time. And I will say that I had a lovely support system. Like, if my husband didn't say yes at that time, not that I need his permission, I just needed his support to watch my son. So I want to say this out to all the women. You don't need anyone's permission, okay? You just need support to do it right. And when somebody supports me, I have respect for them. So that's where my gratitude comes in, right? So I did that, and the journey just started from there. It's a long journey, and I know we are tight on time, but I just want people to know I did not know a thing about makeup, and I was just recently thinking about releasing my first makeup pictures, and I was like, I've had so much work done after that. I was like, I was like, I'm not worried about the makeup. I'm like, they're gonna be like,
But it would show your progress. Like, everyone has to start somewhere, Everyone starts somewhere, and
yeah, a
you only
lot,
get
a lot,
better
a
from
lot of
there.
filler, a lot of Botox, but here we are. Like,
Okay,
here we
I
are
love
today.
you. I love you.
Like,
This
here we
would
are
lead
today.
then into the next question, right, Carla? So, what did it do for your family by you, I guess, saying, first of all, fuck it, I'm going to go become a makeup artist and you've got a new baby. Fuck
Hmm.
it, I'm going to prioritize myself. I don't need anyone's permission for that. I just want your support. What did this whole movement of you exploring you through your postpartum and your new motherhood, what did it do for you guys as a unit now, looking back?
This is such an important thing, and I want to emphasize on it that I just want you to know I'm an immigrant. I come from a Muslim South Asian family. We are very conservative by nature, and where it's not that kind of a thing there where you make decisions without what's the word, compliance, I guess, of your family or whatever. So when I say this, it weighed so heavy on me because here I am. I have a husband who's a surgeon and he provides really well for the family, right? So there goes the part of like a provider. And then I have a beautiful son who's 6 months old at that time. How do you explain this to your family that I'm just going to learn how to do makeup and I'm going to go to Toronto and do this, right? I didn't even have a vision. I didn't know where I would be sitting today, but I knew like I wanted to do something with it, but I knew that I wanted to do it right. Like I wanted to learn makeup and I wanted to learn the technicalities of makeup. Like I wanted everything in like 3 months, right? Which I didn't have time. That probably Rumi you did like
Yeah.
overtime or something, right? I didn't have that time. And it's hard. It's hard to explain it. But at that time, like I say this, I used to leave. I think it was a lot about my own determination and motivation. So my husband's a surgeon, he goes to work, right? So that time I requested my mother to come and stay. My son was 6 months old. I had a babysitter who used to come in the morning. And yes, I'm very fortunate that I could afford that. So I never take that for granted, okay? Because every woman cannot have all those things. I used to leave Monday morning at 4 a.m., drive to the studio. It used to take me 4 hours because I'm going to Toronto downtown. I used to get in there, work till Friday, and then Friday, I used to leave early. I had a special permission to leave the studio at 12. So I beat the traffic and I'm home before it's bedtime. So I used to try to get 3 bedtimes in for my son. And that was my goal. And then I had a lady who I talked to, and she would cook and deliver meals for the week. So I knew that my family is fed and my son is taken care of. And my goal was that I just wanted to do as many bedtimes as I could. And that was 3 times a week.
And what did it do for you guys? How is it like has it made it by doing all of that, would you say like obviously there's no regrets. I can see that in your story. You know what
Hmm.
you did was
Yeah.
what you needed to do. So if a mom's listening and they like hear this, like did it did it make you guys closer? Did your own independence and your own journey make like what did that look
Um,
like for you?
I'm not gonna sugarcoat shit. This is
Yeah,
hard,
don't.
okay? It's hard. It's hard on the relationship, and any married relationship or relationship, any relationship doesn't matter, okay? You have a wedlock or you don't, it suffers when you
Mhm.
make changes, when you make life changes, and you just have to remember that it's about how much priority you give to this. Now, for example, if my career or my drive was causing me my relationship and my whole family, I may not have done it. But yes, there were, we weren't able to do date nights. We weren't able to do dinners together. We weren't. I was tired and I was exhausted. And when I was coming here, at some point, I started taking clients because I started learning about makeup, and I'm like, hey, wait, I need to like practice this shit that I'm learning, right? So I was posting on Instagram, and I started getting clients. So on the weekends when I would be here, I started getting clients, but I made it work. So I'm not telling you that as a woman you have to do it all, but I just feel like I had to do a little extra effort at that time to make sure everyone's taken care of because it's just my nature. I'm like, I want to do what I'm doing, but I don't want anyone to suffer. So it doesn't like make my ride difficult. So let's just get this
Absolutely.
rolling. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
absolutely.
yeah.
That makes sense. I appreciate you not sugarcoating this. It's nice and refreshing to have some rawness and truth behind these
Yeah,
stories.
Well, but touching on that in regards to just like I know that it's your nature to want that, but I think as
totally.
women then becoming moms, there is that guilt that steps in regards, and that guilt again is placed on us because of
Hmm.
the societal expectation of what like motherhood should look like, and it should be great and you should love all the things. But like you feel if you I feel that same way right now. I have things that I want to do, but I
Yeah.
have my family, and then like
Hmm.
I had to run away from dinner to do this, and I feel so much guilt, and I'm like, oh my god, but I want to do this, and like this brings me joy, and like if I don't do this, I'm going to be miserable, and then it's going to affect my family. So there's just a lot of that we have to carry, and it's just a lot of
But
fucking
I
guilt
always
that
say
we
this,
have for the
Carla,
things
but
that
my
we
question to
that
you
want to
is
fill our
like,
souls
men
too.
never feel that guilt when they have to get away from work. And I always say this because I'm married to a doctor. when he's away, nobody ever asks him who's watching your
Nope.
child. But
Nope.
every
Yeah.
time I'm away, the only question I get on Instagram and anywhere is who's watching your son? Who the fuck do you
Yeah.
think is watching my son? Like, what do you
Thank
think? I
you
Yeah,
for
left him
right.
on the
saying
street?
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for
right?
saying that.
So I'm not trying to be like a really vicious, mean feminist. I'm just basing
Mm.
the fucking facts, okay? That as women,
Yeah.
we don't question. Like, we don't question, right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something that I want to say. Like, one thing that I remember that time was I was so worried that how can I do this right now? My son was 6 months old, guys. It's a very tender age, right? We're moms and we know it. But I remember that I don't know, it was either my husband or my sister. I don't know whom to give credit to. They said the time to do is now. They're like,
Mm.
the time you waste, he gets older and he remembers.
Mhm.
And that's what I want to tell all the women out there when we're like, oh, they go to college and then it'll be a good time, or they do this, it'll be a good time. No, babe, the time to do it is today. Start
Yeah.
today and build up on it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to do it for yourself, because if you do it for yourself, then your child sees that too, and it's important for them to not see you put yourself aside and your interests aside, because then what does that teach them? I
Yes.
think that that is a big, big thing on this podcast, that it's like, as moms, we have to fill our cups first. It's not selfish to do that. It actually enhances every other relationship aspect in our lives when we seek out those things that interest us and that we want outside of being a mom.
So, like, to chime into that, like what you're saying, my son is 9 years old, right? So he sees these things, and he knew like I'm. So today, right now, it's 8:30 here. So 6 o'clock we had dinner, and then we were watching The Mermaid. And I said, okay, guys, 7:45, I gotta be off because I have a podcast that I've got to connect to. And I kid you not, my son was on it. Where 7:30, he's like, mommy, 15 more minutes, 15 more minutes, you gotta go. He's like, do you want a water? Do you want anything? Do you want to go? And I said to him, I was like, okay,
Oh,
you got to be quiet, no running upstairs because I'm in the basement. I'm just saying, like, all these things teach them so much more than you think about. You believe he is considerate. He's going to be a good husband tomorrow. He'll be a good brother. He's not a brother. We won't have any more kids, but yeah, yeah. So we talk about these things. Like, these are things I try to teach him. Like, my time is important. I'm just not a mom. I made sure of dinner. We did everything. We watched the movie. We snuggled together. But now mommy has to go and do
yeah.
Well,
what she loves to
that
do.
has been the purpose of this podcast, just so you know. The space is
Hmm.
having women and moms basically more often than not start sharing, because we want to hear it from each other. We want to hear from other
Yes.
moms. It's okay to prioritize yourself and to just say, F it, fuck it. I'm going after it. I'm doing it. I know I'm a mom. That's why we only have moms on, and we only share it, because there's something about once you become a mom, the restrictions that are put on us. And then there's something about when we say fuck it
Yeah.
that
And the thing is that we learn from each other. I can't tell you how much I learned from other moms, where it's like, it's okay. Like, I think very, very early, so my best friend taught me the importance of date nights. She was like, date
Yeah.
nights are important. She's like, you will end up becoming a mom and a dad, but you have to remember, like, I'm telling you, like, it was like you learn these things from other moms, right? Like, when I talk to other moms who are entrepreneurs, I'm like, it's quality over quantity. It's like I've been a stay-home mom and I know my quality of time with my child was not the same. Now we spend like 2, 3 hours a day together, in total, and it's the best time I have with him. And sometimes it's not even that. And it's just FaceTime, and it's okay. I'm still his mom.
Mhm.
That does not change who I am in his life,
Yeah.
right?
No, that's
Yeah.
good. That is a very good point. So the next question I want to jump into is, at this point now, what fears come up for you? What, now that you're like on this makeup journey and also on your motherhood journey past your postpartum, like, what sort of fears come up for you, and how do you stay moving forward in this effort momentum and not let those fears hold you back?
So the one thing that comes to me as a mother is that we're the place where we're scaling our business. So we've developed the product, we've launched it. Now we're scaling it. We're getting into retail. We're in the 2.5 year timeline of our business. My son is 9 years old. All my business helps me travel to New York and LA. And I literally sometimes live out of a suitcase. And there are things that I just have to do it. I have to be there. I have to be this convention. I have to do this. So that is where today I'm at that point where I'm also growing, but I have to make the decision where I cannot be everywhere at the same time. So I make the decisions now where do I really have to do this? Like, is this so I think it's part of like growing a business, but also being an attentive, present parent. That is the problem because to excel in my career, I kind of need to travel because that's just my field. It's just my
Yeah.
field to be seen, to be present, not all the time, superficially, but yes, a lot of times. Like I'm going to Puerto Rico, then I come back, I'm home for 5 days, then I go to LA, I come back, I'm here for 3 days, then I go to New York. I can't let that get to me. I'm just like in the moment and doing the best I can.
What is your
Okay.
quote, Carla, with the like 1 foot after the other? Like when you see the hill, your mountain one?
Oh yeah, it's like if you look at the mountain and you try to just if you're looking at it as a whole, it seems like insurmountable. But when you look 3 feet ahead, like that you can do 3 feet. You can do
I
that
do a
one
month
step
at a
ahead.
time. My goal
Yeah.
is one
Yeah,
month at a time. I just do it. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
this month I'm
Yeah.
traveling this time. How many weekends I have home? How many times I'm home? I can't. Like if somebody tries to plan something like 3 months out, I'm like, don't even talk to me. That gives me so much anxiety.
Yeah.
Like no, a month at a time, and I can't commit to anything.
I love that. Instead of one
Yeah.
step at a time, Samrin's like 1 month at a time. I got you 1 month at a
I mean,
time.
as a parent, that's just what works for me. I'm like, what can I commit to in
Yeah.
this month? I can do 3 trips in this month, and that's it.
So if I understand you correctly, are you saying that your fears that you're becoming or you don't want to become an unattentive mom? Is that what I heard you say?
My fear is at this time, it's not really a fear, it's just a concern that I'm able to
Mhm.
deal with. I don't, I mean, I hate to say this, I don't have any fears. I just feel like concerns that I'm able to address. And my
Right.
concerns are that my son is at a time where he really needs me and my husband. And I just want to do my best. And my
Mhm.
best does not mean giving up my entire life. My best means how can I work best and be the best parent, and
Yeah.
that's what's my priority. And I think that makes my child appreciate me, even our time, even more when we're together. He also appreciates it so much more because he doesn't see mommy all day long. you know
Mhm. Yeah.
we do
Yeah.
breakfast together, we do goodbye, work, and then we do dinner and bedtime together. And to me, like to us as a family, that's like the most important time of the day.
Right.
Well, each
Yeah,
family has to know what works for them. And I think we need
what
to
works for
create more,
them,
yeah, we
absolutely.
need to create more space where each family can have that, their own identity that works for them instead of pushing what works for our home on everybody else.
Yeah, and I want to say just one quick thing in this. I just want to say a quick thing that someone said on my live a few days ago, and they said that people always talk about, it takes a village to raise a child, right? We talk about this all the time, but where is this village, right?
Yeah.
And she said in that, she's like, exactly right. We talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't have a village. I live in Chicago. I don't have a family member around. I don't, right?
Yeah.
But she said that she's like we have a hard time asking for help, and sometimes we should be okay with that. Where we're like, it's okay to be like, hey, can you pick up my son from here and keep him with you for a few hours? I have a gig. I'll be back, or whatever your deal is. Or I need to do this, or I just want to go see my girlfriends. I haven't been out of the house for 4 or 5 days. Can you? And you do the same for them. Like, normalize this. It's okay. You don't need to be a super mom. Nobody gives a fuck about super moms out there. I just want to put it out there, okay? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry. I cannot give any credit to these moms who are like trying to do it all. Good for you. You're exhausting
Yeah.
yourself.
I think it's important to just revisit that before we move into the next question because I'm glad you said it. But when we do say yeah, it takes a village, and everyone just looked at each other right now and went like, "Where the fuck is the village?" Let's at least attempt through these stories that we're sharing. Let's try to be more of a village with one another.
Yeah. If somebody offers help, take it. If a friend help, take it.
Yeah. Let's
Take it.
let's try to exactly. If a mom comes and is like, "Can you help me here? I need this." Like, let's try and show up as a village because we don't know where our villages are.
Yeah, it doesn't make you weak. It does
Yeah.
not make you look weak. Like they'll do it for you tomorrow. You do it for them, and it's
Right.
easier.
Yeah.
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 So this would be the last question, and this is important for anyone listening. A mom out there feeling like you in her postpartum, in that emptiness, what do you tell her? What do you want to say to her?
I just want to say that be kind to yourself and be forgiving. Stop trying to think like you have to be this out of body, like incredible, angelic human being. You're just a human and you're just born. Like a mother is just born. So I feel like we need to tell every woman that you're just born just like that baby. But that baby only needs milk to survive. But you need to figure out your entire life again. So I wish if people were kinder to women and tell them that you don't even know who you are and it's okay. Instead of telling them this is a normal thing. It happens every second a million times. Women are giving birth all day long. Like when I was going through like I was going through miscarriages and ectopic pregnancies, so many people told me, "Oh my God, yeah, it happens all the time." I'm like, but not to me. Like
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't know who I am. 12 weeks, I've lost a baby. I have a child. My body doesn't feel the same. I'm like just losing my mind. So much is going on. I just feel like why do women are made to feel like they need to be some kind of superheroes? Don't be. You're not a superhero. And it's yeah, that's it.
I'm glad that you said, it happens all the time, but not to me, because that's just really powerful. So thank you for saying that.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
Thank you for being so raw and vulnerable, and just not sugarcoating this. This is the kind of space and the type of hopefully
Yeah.
inspiring story for any mom that is listening. The reason we keep it short and to the point is because we know we're busy. We know we don't have a
Yeah.
lot of time. We know
Yeah.
we're all on that hustle, but a little bit of that inspiring story from another mother on a Monday, we hope, that's the goal.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
inspires me too. I love these stories because trust me, it's so lonely as a mom. It's so lonely as, any role you are in your life because
Yeah.
people think like you have 1,000 people around you, but inside you're lonely. So when
Yeah.
you're sitting and listening to these podcasts, I hope somebody relates to it and says, it's not just me and it's normal the way I feel.
Yes.
Right. I
Yes.
mean, if anything, that's been me in this
Yeah.
Yeah.
podcast because I can 100% relate to you. But I think there are so many women out there that have gone through this with their postpartum and will feel so validated
Yes.
hearing you say what you went through. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing it because it really does need to become a normal conversation. We
Yes.
need to stop feeling like so shitty about
Yeah.
all the stuff that we're
Or
feeling
to
and
put you on a
that
pedestal when you have a baby. No, I feel like shit. I'm
yeah.
bleeding from my ass and every whole my body. I fucking hate my life right now.
Yeah.
I'm like leaking here. I haven't slept. Well,
Yeah.
no, help me. Like
Yeah.
make me feel
Help
good,
me. Help me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Help me.
where's the bar lady?
She's
Yeah.
like, "Where the hell's this village I heard of? I'm
This
fucking
village.
dying here."
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
seriously.
if anything, I just feel like if women can just feel like we all are here today and we're talking about the same thing. So if you look at us today, you think like, oh my God, we're living this great life. No, we all have walked the path. And
Oh,
that's what
yes.
women need to know and tell other
Yeah.
people to fucking F it, okay?
Yep.
I am
Yes.
just born. I want every woman to say, I am just born. I'm a
Yeah.
new mom. I don't know how to do it, so F it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Yay.
Amen to
Thank you.
that.
Well,
Thank you
we
for
want to
that.
we want to shout out your wonderful beauty line. We're just so inspired and so proud to have had you on here. So can you tell everyone listening where they can follow you, where they can shop with you? Like shout out all your links for everyone.
Well, thank you. I own a cosmetic beauty line, and it is based out of New York, Manhattan. We manufacture in Germany, Milan, so it's mini Europe, and it's here. You can buy it on our website, www.samarainsvanity.com. Follow us on Instagram. We do a lot of tutorials. I just want to give back, and people can just get wealth of knowledge on Instagram, and that's it. This is so
Perfect.
much more than the cosmetic line or the business. This is just about let's connect and tell me if it made a difference. Like this podcast made a difference, please shoot me a message.
Yay, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So
So nice to connect with you guys, Rumi. Good to see you again. Absolutely gorgeous, Carla. So nice to connect with you too.
Yes. Yes. I just knew I had to have you on. So I'm so happy, and I really appreciate you making this work and time wise.
Thank you. This means a lot to me. This means so much to me. Thank you for your time.
It does
Oh,
for us
it
too.
does for
Yeah,
us
thank you
too.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really, really does. So we're
Yeah,
so grateful for your time. And we want to, this is where we're going to say,
Just
just
F
F
F
it.
it.
it.